G'day guys, welcome to part, what are we up to now? 3 I think, yeah, part 3, we'll go with that. Part 3 of the CY Models Edge 540 series. So this is a series of videos where I am going about, I guess you could say, rebuilding, refurbishing CY Models Edge 540 aircraft. And in the last video I rebuilt the, I guess you call it the firewall / motor plate. It's where you install the motor engine onto the aircraft. And so I've still got a few things to do there that will be covered maybe in the next video after, I'm not too sure, just depending on how things pan out. But in this video, it's going to be a little bit different because down there is the plane, but we aren't focusing really on the aircraft today. Today is something special. Got the engine for it. And this actually turned out to be a deal of the century. Well, for me anyway. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know, you've seen some of the aircraft that I've had, or that I have. And one of the aircraft that I did a build series of was a CY Models Yak 55M, which is about the same, well, is the same sort of size as this Edge 540. And in that build series, I put an OS GT33 engine in it. Now, that engine is a 33cc engine that runs on petrol, gasoline for you Americans. And that engine, it is a good engine, but it is on the pricey side. From like in Australia, in Australian currency, and when you factor in things like GST and things like that, worked out to just a little over 600 Australian dollars. Not sure what that is in US currency, but I will put it down below what that would be in US currency, so you can understand it's a bit pricey. So came across this engine, and believe it or not, I actually came across this engine on AliExpress. I know, right? AliExpress, where you buy the cheapest of cheap stuff. So what I'll do is I'll flip around and I'll show you the engine that I got. So here it is, guys. This is an RCGF Stinger 35. Now, I know, right? A 35cc engine off AliExpress. I'm still pinching myself. And the reason why I'm pinching myself is, like I said, this is a 35cc engine. Now, it doesn't come with the propeller. However, apart from the engine, it comes with the muffler. It comes with standoff mounts to mount it to your aircraft. It comes with the ignition module, and it comes with a few other little peripheral miscellaneous items like screws for the mounting. It even comes with little, like you see here, the little retainer clips. It comes with that for the to like hold the ignition module and so forth. And this cost me a little over 300 Australian dollars off AliExpress. Now, not like I'll put down in US currency what that is, because here in Australia, it doesn't matter if you buy something overseas, the Australian government wants their 10% cut. So it cost me, with the GST, a little over 300 Australian dollars. Now, that is half of what my OS GT33 engine cost. So what we're going to do in this video is we are going to attempt to get it started. So I have the engine mounted onto what is essentially the stand for the aircraft. Now don't worry, I know some of you are probably tapping out right now thinking this is going to end disastrously because the stand is just in between there. However, I do have wood underneath to stop this from flipping over or coming out. I also will have this strapped down. So we have the ignition module here, have the fuel tank. This isn't the fuel tank I will be using for the model. It'll be for, this is just a test tank. Just got a servo set up, simply just operate the throttle. Just a 2-cell LiPo for the ignition. This can take up to 14.4 volts, so I would say a 3-cell LiPo maximum, really. You don't really need it. On my Yak I use a 2S LiFi pack, which is 6.6 volts. It works fine. Got a LiFi pack here for the receiver, and so that's how I've got it set up. Now, with this, if you're going to be hand starting this, I recommend that you use a strong or thick gardening glove, preferably leather, or if you have motorcycle gloves with the knuckle guards, I would also recommend those, because when you flip these, bear in mind this is a large, or in aircraft terms, this is a fairly big engine. When it starts, you want to make sure that when you start it, your hand goes away like that. How do I know? Because once I started it and my hand went down and it kicked and went like that and went straight across my knuckles. It hurt. So what we're going to do, obviously we're going to be starting this outside. I will be running this on premium unleaded, on a mixture of 25:1. They recommend like a 30:1 mix ratio, and I think in between 25 to 40:1 ratio, but they recommend 30:1 for the optimum running. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to get it started and give it a bit of a run, make sure it's working fine, and give it a run for a bit to let it break in a little bit. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to cut it here and we are going to be outside. Alrighty, so we got it all set up. The tank is, well, it's not completely full, but we've got fuel. Got to turn everything on. So it's all strapped down, and Coco is making sure that it is passing the safety test. Don't think she really cares. So all we can do now is try and start it. So let's see how we go. Alrighty, so throttle check. Might bring alrighty. Choke is on, ignition on. All right. Might take a little bit to get started. Right, we got fuel to the carb. If this shakes too much, I'm going to turn it off. All right. Choke off. Now, if something goes wrong, hopefully I can shut it off. If not, I will quickly pull the battery on the ignition. How about that, guys? Well, I'm happy with that. I was a little unsure of how it would start, but it started quite easily. So I'm happy with that. I might take this to the aircraft club to run it some more, because I don't want to annoy the hell out of the neighbours. So I mean, she was getting warm, but that's what you want. Nah, that's good. Well, I'm going to pause it here and I will be back. Well guys, that really is the end of this video. It wasn't going to be much on the actual plane itself, just the engine, just to see how it was to get it started. I'm actually really impressed with how this model started. I know, like, they know the saying is you get what you pay for, and I know of a few fellas that not just in my local club, but in a few other clubs that have had RCGF engines, and they've had no issues with them. And I've read things online, and it was honestly, I guess you could say it was an impulse buy, because the price that I saw it for compared to what you would pay for like an OS or a DLE or a Desert Aircraft engine, the price was, I took a gamble on it, and honestly I think first impressions, I think the gamble has paid off. Time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. I do want to run the engine some more. I don't really want to run it anymore in my backyard. It's funny, you know, like I can run my lawnmower, my edge trimmer, my leaf blower and things like that make a hell of a lot of racket, and neighbours won't say boo. The moment you're doing something fun related, yeah, you're making too much noise. So I'm going to take the bench and that setup to the aircraft club, where I will run it some more. Until then guys, it's the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, or if you have any tips, if you've got one of these engines and you got any tips for me, please by all means comment down below. I'm always open to suggestions and things like that. So until then guys, enjoy your hobby and cheers.